According to Surah 17, verse 1, Muhammad
Yeah,
made a night journey on the winged horse, namely Burak, and he
yeah,
went to Beit al-Maqdis. What is
yeah.
Beit al-Maqdis? Which mosque is that?
Al-Quds in Palestine.
Yeah, Al-Aqsa, right?
Yeah,
Al-Aqsa. Okay, so Muhammad went to Al-Aqsa in Quds in Jerusalem to
yeah,
visit the mosque to perform prayer there, right?
yeah, yeah,
Okay, can you explain to me that Al-Aqsa was built 100 years after the death of Muhammad? There was no mosque at that time. How
yeah,
is that
yeah.
possible? Which mosque did he visit?
Okay.
So
So
how
he's
can he visit a mosque that didn't exist back then?
so he's saying he didn't visit the mosque.
It's quite impossible because the mosque didn't exist back then. It was actually built by Abd al-Malik in 715. So it's actually 100 years after the death of the Prophet.
So he visited the place of the mosque, you saying?
No, because if you go to the Asbab al-Nuzul from Ibn Sa'd, Muhammad was describing a mosque at Al-Quds. He was describing Al-Aqsa and he stated how many windows it had, how many doors it had. But there were no buildings there because the Temple of Solomon was already destroyed in 70 AD. So there were no buildings at that place, nor a mosque, because that mosque was built 100 years later. So how can Muhammad describe a building and visit a building that didn't exist back then?
Ah, okay, okay, okay. That's a problem. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you're saying time travel.
Sorry?
So you're implying of time traveling.
Yeah, if you have a time machine and he went 100 years ahead, then he could
Yeah,
visit the mosque. But
yeah.
this is very interesting. So Muhammad claimed to visit a mosque that didn't exist back then. He was describing a mosque that didn't exist back then. So how is that even possible? Was he
Yeah.
lying?
So do you deny time traveling exists?
So you believe that Muhammad time
No, no,
traveled
no,
100 years
no,
before and then
no,
he
no, no,
went
no.
to the 8th
I'm just
century?
saying the problem. The problem is time traveling.
That is your
No,
solution to the problem.
no, you're
He
saying the
time
problem.
traveled.
No, you're saying the problem is time traveling. The mosque doesn't exist, and if it exists, he could be, it's in 1,000 years after.
100 years
So
after. Yeah.
yeah, so you're saying if it's that statement is true, that means the Rasul travel in time in that point. Yeah.
No, he didn't travel in time. He was lying.
Before you say it is a lie, before you say it's a lie,
We
so
know
you
it's a
say,
lie because we
God,
know who built the
this is
mosque. It was
not a
Abd Malik.
discussion.
Let me ask you, if I say to you I was visiting a building that didn't exist, am I lying to you then? Because Muhammad claimed to visit a building that didn't exist.
Okay,
How
it's
is that possible?
yeah, yeah, okay. So it doesn't make sense to you. So when you say Jesus walk on water or cure the blind,
Yeah.
so it doesn't make sense.
That is actually a supernatural event that was actually
So,
testified
so,
by
so
1 second, and I will explain the difference between the
yeah.
claim of Muhammad and the action of Jesus. Why do I call the
Okay,
action of
okay,
Jesus an
okay.
action and the claim of Muhammad a claim? Because there
Ah,
were eyewitnesses at the event of Jesus, and we have
ah,
independent witnesses witnessing the same thing that Jesus claimed, namely he was walking on water, and we have disciples that were present at the time who are describing the same phenomena.
yeah,
When we go back to Muhammad, nobody saw it, nobody was witnessing it. He just claimed it. There's no supported evidence for that claim. When we go to one of his wives, his beloved wife, Mu'minin, the mother of all believers, namely Aïsha, that was reported by Ibn Ishaq in Rasulullah, she actually claimed that Muhammad never left the bed when he claimed to have a journey to Jerusalem. So Aisha stated, Prophet claimed that he went to Jerusalem, but he never left the bed because I saw him in bed. So she is actually denying the claim of Muhammad in Ibn Ishaq. So we have witnesses to the contrary. Yet when Jesus made this action by walking on water, we have supported evidences. This is the reason that I use the word action pertaining to Jesus and claim pertaining to Muhammad.